require essays. So I am a big believer in double, triple, and quintuple dipping, that whenever you write an essay, plan on using it at least one other time. So today I'm going to talk about the University of California essays, but any essay that you write for the University of California, you should be willing to use again as your main essay for the Common Application or for another university. You should not be writing any essay just for one purpose unless you're applying to a school like University of Pennsylvania that has an essay, why is University of Pennsylvania a good match for you? And if you say the University of Michigan is a good match for me in your University of Pennsylvania essay, I don't think you'll have a shot. So those are the only essays that you need to make sure that you don't put in the wrong information. But we know that the top UC campuses are UCLA, Berkeley, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Irvine, Davis. Then we have the other campuses that we have Santa Cruz and then Riverside and Merced, who up until now usually take the majority of people who apply. I'm not quite sure that will happen this year. We'll see. The top campuses take 20 to 30% of applicants. They receive thousands and thousands of applications from talented, capable students. You can view each other as competition. I believe there's room for all of you if you actually take your application seriously. And we know that they are due when? November 30th. Please do not apply November 30th, because what if the server breaks and crashes and you're delayed? So you should be aiming for at least a week early. And they go online starting tomorrow, October 1st. Between October 1st and October 30th, you can be playing around with your application. You can't actually submit it into November 1st. Take every part of the application seriously. If they ask you to describe your activities, I view those as mini essays. So anytime they ask you for an activity and they give you a box afterwards and they ask you to describe that activity, if you leave it blank, shame on you. They value your activities as much as they value the essays. They're looking for leadership and initiative. So in it, you need to show how in some way you participated as an individual and as part of, if you're on a team, you're an individual and you're a team member. If you're in the band, you're an individual instrumentalist and you're a band member. So think about what you did individually as part of a group. They have 14 measures to evaluate you for the University of California. Staggering. The first one, and the most important one, what would people, raise your hand if you think you know what the number one criteria is for getting into the University of California. Raise your hand if you think you know. All right, so the two people who know are lucky. What do you think it is? It's your GPA in 10th and 11th grade, so congratulations. There's absolutely nothing that you could do right now to change your GPA. It's done. All right? So do we understand that because it's due November 30th, there's absolutely no way they can see your senior grades until they accept you, and they ask in June for your report cards, and then they will, as they often do, not like your senior year grades and say sorry. So your senior grades are as important as your 10th and 11th grades. It's just they're not going to see them until after you've been admitted. Does that make sense? Okay. They also, number two, look at the rigor of the coursework that you've taken. So they want to see, have you taken advantage of all the different kinds of courses they offer at Arcadia? Have you taken some honors classes? Have you taken some AP classes? They only give you credit for 4 AP or honors classes in 10th grade and then unlimited in 11th grade. And then they look at your test scores. You are unfortunately one of the last groups that will have to submit 2 SAT-2s, but you have to this year submit your SAT or your ACT with writing along with 2 SAT-2s, and then you have the rest of the application that I can only help you with the last part of it, and those are the essays and documenting your activities. Those are 2 things that you can actively control right now. And imagine that you're a person who's reading the UC application. They give you about 5 minutes for your file. I'm sorry, your entire life is down to 5 minutes. Do you think they talk to each other about, oh my gosh, I have a kid, she had a 3.9 in biology, and she had a 4.2 in chemistry? Do you think that's what they talk about with each other? Or what do you think they talk about with each other? They talk about your essays. The highlight of them reading your application is reading your essays, because they don't even ask for teacher recommendations. They don't even ask for a counselor recommendation. They only ask for 2 essays from each of you, 2 essays, and that's how they expect you to become 3-dimensional in their minds. So this you should view as just a great gift that you can give to yourself right now, and that's thinking about what are the 2 stories that they won't be able to figure out about me by looking just at me on paper. What do I need to explain to them that will make them have to have me on their campus? And each and every one of you only way I know that you can do that is by thinking of specific stories about your lives that you can use to make them understand why you belong on their campus. Now, do you think they want to know about the you that existed when you were 4, or the you that existed when you were 7, or the you that when you were 11, or the you that's like 16, 17, or 18? Who's going to campus? So they want to know, if you're going to talk about yourself, how are you thinking about who you are at this moment in time? And that's why we're going to take a look at the UC prompts and break them down a little bit.